move away from yourself. The more you are moving away from your center, and this moving away from yourself is indeed a sign of spiritual poverty. Though on the outside you may be glittering with many diamonds and rubies, however, spiritually you become poor. So the deep karmic lesson of this placement is to find balance in your life. That you spend some time with the outer world, but also find time to spend with your inner world, your inner soul. It is perfectly fine to go in the market and share your feelings, but it is also important that for certain intervals you are able to go back into your inner world. You are able to shut the doors and spend some quality time with yourself. When all planets are clubbed between Rahu in 12th house and Ketu in 6th house, then the whole life is revolving towards serving the people in some way or the other. Many a time in an evolved horoscope, such a placement signifies a native who is happy to serve without having any agenda or goal. Basically, selfless service is one beautiful aspect of this placement. I personally am fond of this placement and it also brings a great deal of spiritual bliss and wisdom in the native's life. Of course, for that, the native need to have a certain quality to horoscope. He needs to have an inclination towards spiritual practice such as daily chanting and daily meditation. However, overall, this is a very high level placement, especially when it is seen in an evolved soul's horoscope. The karmic lesson is to realize the futility of a human life, to realize the suffering that attachment brings in life, and to basically slowly get completely immersed into the higher octave of life by surrendering totally to the good, the divine, compassionate Master. Overall, all the placement of Rahu from first house to 12th house is positive, provided the soul has a certain depth of understanding. This placement of having all planets between Rahu and Ketu is unsatisfied. He always wants more. He wonders what's wrong with him, but he can't stop. He continues to seek more sex, but remains utterly unsatisfied in his quest for sex. In a poor horoscope, this placement can lead to sexual intercourse with prostitutes. However, if the horoscope is of good quality and Ketu is powerful with a strong support of Lord Jupiter, then this Rahu in 7th house can dilute the negative results and provide positive results in the matters of marriage, business, and relationships. The karmic lesson for this placement is that the understands the fact that having sex is like having fried food. When you are eating fried food, you always want to have more and more because that's what happens with oil. Similarly, sex is like oily or fried food. You want to have more and more and more, and in this mad pursuit, you make an act of yourself. Even if this realization comes, then I will say the karmic lesson has done what needs to be done. It has brought a certain insight and understanding to your being, making you much more mature person who in next birth will focus less on sex and more on his self-evaluation. When all planets are clubbed between the Rahu in 8th house and Ketu in 2nd house, then the whole focus is on understanding what lies beneath. Such a person is always very much interested in knowing that which is not seen by the naked eye. He is a great investigator and also loves to research a certain subject with great passion. If the overall horoscope is positive and Jupiter, the Moon and Mercury are well placed, then this placement can bring a sudden transformation within, leading the native to many wonderful spiritual experiences. Such a person is always in search of a deep, intimate relationship. He seeks a soulmate. Ideally, such a person is found to have great depth of understanding and in fact is always taking effort to realize his higher self. This transformative yoga of all planets falling between Rahu in 8th and Ketu in 2nd is highly transformative in nature and has the ability to transform the most simple person into a saint. However, if the horoscope is cruel, then such a native gets dragged into the ugly world of black magic, hypnotism, and thereby gets lost. He becomes a lost man. The karmic lesson is to realize the futility of his human life and to understand the hard truth and reality of human life. To put it in Buddha's words, it is to understand the fact that life is suffering. When all planets are clubbed between the Rahu in 9th house and Ketu in 3rd house, that the whole focus is on learning, higher education, interaction with spiritual gurus, deep interest in philosophy studies, and moreover, a life dedicated to attaining higher knowledge. In a way, this is a positive placement. However, the karmic lesson is to realize the fact that knowledge burdens you. However, the karmic lesson for this placement is of such a higher level that rarely does the native self realizes this hard truth that knowledge burdens you. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, why do you wish to burden yourself with more knowledge and suffer more? Always remember, whole life you may gather knowledge, but this futile exercise will not help you grow spiritually. Whereas, when you surrender to your Guru, then you no longer need to carry the burden of knowledge. Then the depth of knowledge is wiped out, and then you are able to realize the self. When all planets are clubbed between Rahu in the 10th house and Ketu in 4th house, the person is very much driven towards his career. He is so much obsessed with his career that he will simply ignore his personal life, his family life, and just keep running like a racing horse to reach a certain goal. Goal, that is the word. These are goal-oriented people. They do well professionally, but they fail miserably in their personal life. The karmic lesson is to realize the futility of being one-dimensional. That is to stop focusing only on career and work. Instead, find a balance. Focus on balancing your professional life with your personal life. It is necessary to remember that even if you earn millions of dollars, but still, if you are not able to spend time with your kids in a garden or in a shopping mall, if you are not able to be with your loved ones on their birthdays, then what is the point of all this money and status? Think and meditate on my words. When all planets are clubbed between the Rahu in 11th house and Ketu in 5th house, the person has excellent networking skills. In fact, the current age is the networking age. Social media has become the most significant part of human life, and native with this placement knows exactly how to use it to their advantage.